You know what's wild? We live in the most connected generation in human history. We reach anyone, anywhere, at any time. We've got social media, text messages, video calls, and all of that. And yet, so many of us feel completely alone. We feel alone in our struggles. We feel alone in our journey. We feel alone in our pain. And here's the thing. We weren't designed to do life alone. We weren't created to carry everything by ourselves. We weren't meant to walk this road in isolation. That's what we're talking about today. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Walking It Out. I am your girl, Latrice Clark Jordan, and I'm so glad you're here for this episode 5. If you've been with me since the beginning, thank you for continuing to show up. And if this is your first time listening, welcome to the family, because that's what we're building here, a community. So last week in episode 4, we talked about setbacks. We talked about obstacles. We talked about what happens when you take the first step and then things don't go the way you planned. At the end of that episode, I told you that today we'd be talking about community. We'd be talking about why you can't do this alone and how you find your people. And y'all, this topic is super close to my heart because I've been the person who tried to do it alone. I've been the person who thought asking for help was a sign of weakness. I've been the person who believed that if I just worked hard enough, if I just pushed through enough, if I just stayed strong enough, I could handle everything on my own. But here's what I've learned. That's not strength. Lean in. That's pride. And pride will isolate you every single time. So today, I want to talk about community. I want to talk about finding your people. I want to talk about why you need them, how to build those relationships, and what it looks like to actually let people in. But here's the truth. The journey you're on, the dream you're chasing, the calling God has placed on your life, you can't do it alone. You weren't meant to do it alone. And when you try, you're going to burn out. You're going to break down. You're going to miss out on the blessing that comes from doing life with other people. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your water, whatever you're sipping on, and let's walk this out together. Okay, let me start by saying and being real with you about something. For a long time, I believed that needing people made me look weak. I believed that if I couldn't handle everything on my own, then I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't capable enough. I just wasn't enough. And I think a lot of us carry that belief. We think that asking for help means we're failing. We think that admitting we can't do it all means we're not cut out for what we're trying to do. We think that vulnerability is a liability. But here's what God has been teaching me. Vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is courage. It takes more strength to admit you need help than it does to pretend you have it all together. And when you're vulnerable, when you let people in, when you admit that you're struggling, that's when real community happens. That's when real connection happens. That's when you find your people. So let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I went through one of the hardest seasons of my life. I was going through a major life transition. I had made the decision to separate from my ex-husband, and I was living in New Jersey with my 2 daughters. And y'all, I was trying to hold it all together. I was trying to be strong for my girls. I was trying to figure out how to navigate this new reality. I was trying to keep working, keep providing, keep showing up, and I was exhausted. I was overwhelmed, and I was barely holding on. But here's the thing. I didn't tell my family everything that was going on. I didn't give them all the details. I didn't want to burden them. I didn't want them to worry. I didn't want them to think I couldn't handle it. But you know what? They showed up anyway. Even without knowing all the details, even without me asking, they rallied behind me. They helped me take care of my daughters. They checked in on me. They made sure I wasn't doing this alone. And my dad, y'all, God rest his soul. But my dad stepped in a major way. He was there for me in ways I didn't even know I needed. He helped me with the girls. He was a steady presence. He reminded me that I wasn't alone, and I couldn't have gotten through that season without him. That experience taught me something powerful. It taught me that community isn't just nice to have. It's essential. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity. And when you try to do life without it, you're robbing yourself of one of God's greatest gifts. Because God designed us for community. He created us to need each other. He wired us for connection. And when we isolate ourselves, when we try to do everything on our own, we're going against the very design God created. So let's talk about what the Bible says about community. Because this isn't just my opinion. This isn't just a nice idea. This is biblical truth. The scripture I want to share with you today is Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24 and 25. And it says this, "And let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." Let me read that one more time, because this is so important. Let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another. Y'all, the scripture is telling us that community is not optional. It's not something we do when it's convenient. It's something we're called to prioritize. We're called to meet together. We're called to encourage one another. We're called to spur each other on. And notice what it says, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing. Even back in the biblical times, people were isolating themselves. People were pulling away. People were trying to do it alone. And the writer of Hebrews is saying, don't do that. Don't give up on community. You need it. Because here's what community does. It spurs you on. It encourages you. It reminds you of who you are when you forget. It speaks truth over you when you're believing lies. It holds you accountable when you're slipping. It celebrates with you when you win. It mourns with you when you lose. Community is where you find strength when you're weak. It's where you find hope when you're discouraged. It's where you find love when you feel unlovable. But here's the thing. Community doesn't just happen. You don't just wake up one day and have a strong, supportive community around you. You have to be intentional about it. You have to pursue it. You have to build it. So let me give you some practical steps for finding and building your community. Because I don't want to just tell you that you need community. I want to give you tools to actually create it. First, you have to be willing to be vulnerable. And I know that's scary. I know it's hard. I know it feels risky, but vulnerability is the foundation of real community. You can't build deep relationships if you're always pretending to have it all together. You can't connect with people if you're always wearing a mask. You can't receive support if you never let people see that you need it. So you have to be willing to take off the mask. You have to be willing to admit when you're struggling. You have to be willing to say, I don't have it all figured out. I need help. I need prayer. I need encouragement. And yes, that's scary. Yes, that feels vulnerable. But that's where real connection happens. That's where you find your people. So second, you have to look for people who are going in the same direction as you. Community is about having the right people around you. You need people who share your values. You need people who are pursuing God like you're pursuing God. You need people who are growing, who are striving, who are walking in purpose. Because the people you surround yourself with will influence you. They will shape you. They will even pull you up or pull you down. Okay? By your bootstraps. So be intentional about who you're doing life with. Look for people who inspire you. Look for people who challenge you. Look for people who make you better. That's a word. And that's in the word. Iron sharpens iron. And here's the thing. You might not find those people in the places you expect. You might not find them at church. You might not find them in your family. You might not find them in your current friend group. You might find them in a podcast community. You might find them in an online community. You might find them at the coffee shop, at a gym, at a networking event. You might find them in the most unexpected places. So be open. Be willing to step outside your comfort zone. Be willing to put yourself out there because your people are out there. You just have to find them. Okay? Third, you have to be the kind of friend you want to have. Pause. Again, the kind of friend you want to have. Can I get an amen? Let me say that again for the people in the back. You have to be the kind of friend you want to have. Okay, I can move on from there because I can get stuck right there. That is so important, y'all. Because we want community. We all want people who show up for us, who supports us, who encourages us. But are we showing up for other people? Are we supporting them? Are we encouraging them? Community is not a one-way street. It's not about what you can get. It's about what you can give. It's about being there for others the way you want them to be there for you. So if you want friends who check in on you, start checking in on other people. If you want friends who pray for you, start praying for other people. If you want friends who celebrate your wins, start celebrating other people's wins. Be the kind of friend you're looking for and watch how God brings the right people into your life. I'm telling you what I know. Fourth, you have to invest time. Y'all, relationships just don't happen. They take time. They take effort. They take intentionality. You can't build deep community by only showing up when it's convenient. You can't build strong relationships by only reaching out when you need something. You have to invest. You have to make time for coffee dates, for phone calls, for text messages. You have to show up consistently. You have to be present. You have to prioritize the relationship that matters. And I know life is busy. I know you've got a million things going on. But if community is important to you, you have to make it a priority. You have to carve out time for it. You have to protect it. Because the relationships you invest in today are the relationships that will sustain you tomorrow. The community you build now is the community that will carry you through the hard seasons. Again, I'm telling you what I know. Fifth, you have to be willing to ask for help. And this is the one I struggle with the most. Because asking for help feels like admitting defeat. It feels like saying, I can't do this. And for a long time, I didn't want to say that. Okay? But here's what I've learned. Asking for help is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's recognizing that you're human. It's recognizing that you have limits. And it's recognizing that God designed you to need other people. So when you're struggling, when you're overwhelmed, when you're at the end of your rope, ask for help. Reach out to your people. Tell them what you need and let them show up for you. Here's the beautiful thing, because I'm telling you what I know. When you ask for help, you're not just receiving a blessing, you're giving one. Because people want to help. People want to be there for you. People want to feel needed. And when you let them in, when you let them support you, you're giving them the opportunity to live out their purpose. So don't rob people of that blessing by trying to do everything on your own. Let them help. Let them serve you. Let them love you. Because that's important to people. So again, don't rob them of their blessing. And you have to protect your community. Because once you find your people, once you build those relationships, you have to guard them. You have to nurture them. You have to fight for them. That means setting boundaries with people who drain you. Okay? Let me run that back. That means setting boundaries with people who drain you. That means saying no to relationships that are toxic. That means being intentional about who you give your time and your energy to. Because not everyone deserves access to you. I am learning that at Change Church, where my pastors are Dr. Darius and Shamika Daniels. Shout out to Change Church. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. And that's okay. You're not called to be in a community with everybody. You're called to be in a community with the people God has placed in your life. So protect your peace. So protect your peace. So protect your peace. Protect your energy. Protect your community. And don't feel guilty about it. And I said that with that old head movement. Like you telling somebody off with attitude. That's what I just said that sentence. Those sentences with my head moving back and forth. Protect your peace. Protect your energy. Protect your community and don't feel guilty about it. Can you hear that? Can you hear the head moving in my voice? That part. And finally, you have to remember that community is a gift from God. It's not something you create on your own. It's not something you manufacture. It's something God orchestrates. So pray for community. Ask God to bring the right people into your life. Ask Him to show you where to find them. Ask Him to give you the courage to be vulnerable, to reach out, to invest. And trust that He will answer that prayer, because God knows you need community. He designed you for it, and He will provide it. Now, let me address something real quick, because I know some of you are thinking, Latrice, I've tried to build community. I've tried to find my people, and it didn't work out. I got hurt, I got disappointed, I got let down. And I hear you. I've been there. I've had friendships that didn't last. I've had people who let me down. I've had community that fell apart. But here's what I want you to know. Just because it didn't work out before doesn't mean it won't work out now. Just because you got hurt doesn't mean you should give up. Just because people disappointed you doesn't mean all people will. You can't let past pain keep you from future blessings. You can't let fear of rejection keep you from connection. You can't let one bad experience or two. Keeping community is risky. Yes, it requires vulnerability. Yes, you might get hurt, but the alternative is isolation. And isolation is far more painful than rejection. So I want to encourage you to try again, because I know I did. Put yourself out there again, because I know I did. Be vulnerable again, because I know I did. Because the right people are worth the risk. And here's the thing. Not everyone is meant to be in your life forever. Some people are there for a season. You know the rest. Some people are there for a reason, and that's okay. You can be grateful for what they brought to your life without being bitter that they no longer in it. God brings people into your life for different purposes. To teach you. Some are there to challenge you. Some are there to support you. And some are there to walk with you for the long haul. So don't hold on to relationships that have run their course. Don't force connections that aren't meant to be. Trust that God knows what He's doing. Trust that He's bringing the right people at the right time. Now let me share something else with you I've learned about community. And this is important. Community is not just about receiving. It's about giving. When I was going through that hard season, when my family was showing up for me, I had to learn how to receive. I had to learn how to let them help. I had to learn how to be vulnerable enough to admit I needed them. But I also had to learn how to give back. I had to learn how to show up for them. I had to learn how to be there for them the way they were there for me. Because community is reciprocal. It's a two-way street. And if you're only taking, if you're only receiving, if you're only showing up when you need something, that's not community. You want to know what it is? That's using people. So ask yourself, am I giving as much as I'm receiving? Am I showing up for my people the way they show up for me? Am I investing in them the way they invest in me? And if the answer is no, it's time to make a change. It's time to start being the kind of friend you want to have. Let me also talk about the different types of community you need, because community is not a one-size-fits-all. You need different people for different things. You need a spiritual community. You need people who will pray with you, who who will speak truth over you, who will point you back to God when you're drifting. You need emotional community. You need people who will listen to you, who will hold space for your feelings, who will let you be human. You need a practical community. You need people who will help you move, who will watch your kids, who will bring you a meal when you are feeling overwhelmed. You need a professional community. You need people who will challenge you in your career, who will mentor you, who will open doors for you. Here's a good one. And you need fun community. You need people who will laugh with you, who will celebrate with you, who will remind you not to take life so seriously. You don't need one person to be all of those things. You need a community of people who fulfill different roles in your life. And that's okay. That's healthy. That's how it's supposed to be. So don't put pressure on one person to be everything for you. Don't expect one friend to meet all your needs. Build a diverse community. Surround yourself with different people who bring different things to your life. Now, I want to talk about something that I think holds a lot of us back from building community. And that's the fear of being a burden. We don't want to ask for help because we don't want to bother people. We don't want to reach out because we don't want to be needy. We don't want to be vulnerable because we don't want to be too much. But here's what I've learned. The right people will never see you as a burden. The right people will never think you're too much. The right people will be honored that you trust them enough to let them in. And if someone makes you feel like a burden, if someone makes you feel like you're too much, if someone makes you feel like you're asking for too much, they're not your people. And that's okay. Let them go. And find the people who will show up for you without making you feel guilty about it. Because you deserve community that lifts you up, not community that makes you feel small. You deserve people who celebrate you, not people who tolerate you. You deserve relationships that add to your life, not relationships that drain you. Stop settling for less than you deserve. Stop accepting crumbs when God has a feast for you. Stop staying in a relationship that don't serve you just because you're afraid of being alone. Being alone is better than being in the wrong community. And when you let go of the wrong people, you make room for the right ones. Let me also say this. Building community takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a week or a month. It takes years. So be patient. Be consistent. Keep showing up. Keep being vulnerable. Keep investing. And trust that over time, you will build the community you're looking for. And in the meantime, be grateful for the community you have, even if it's small, even if it's not perfect, even if it's not what you envisioned. Be grateful for the people who are showing up for you right now. Because gratitude attracts more blessing. When you appreciate what you have, God gives you more. When you honor the people in your life, He brings more people into your life. So don't take your community for granted. Don't overlook the people who are already there. Celebrate them. Thank them. Let them know how much they mean to you. Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a challenge. I want you to think about your community right now. Do it right now. Who are your people? Who are the ones showing up for you? Who are the ones you can call at 2 o'clock in the morning? Huh? Who are the ones who know the real you? Okay, I got a few of those. And if you can't answer that question, if you realize you don't have that kind of community, I want you to take one step this week towards building it. Maybe that's reaching out to someone you've been meaning to connect with. Maybe that's joining a group or a class. Maybe that's being vulnerable with someone and letting them see the real you. Maybe that's asking for help when something you've been trying to handle on your own. Maybe that's asking for help with something you've been trying to handle on your own. Whatever it is, take one step. Because community doesn't just happen. You have to pursue it. You have to build it. You have to invest in it. And I promise you, it's worth it. The right community will change your life. It will sustain you in the hard seasons. It will celebrate with you in the good seasons. It will remind you of who you are when you forget. It will push you toward your purpose when you're tempted to give up. You were not meant to be. You were not meant to do this alone. You were designed for a community. And when you find your people, when you build those relationships, when you let them in, you will experience a level of joy, a level of peace, a level of fulfillment that you've never thought possible. So don't give up on community. Don't let past pain keep you from future blessings. Don't let fear keep you isolated. Take a risk. Be vulnerable. Reach out and watch what God does. So before we wrap up today, I want to let you know what's coming next week. In episode 6, we're going to talk about consistency. We're going to talk about showing up when you don't feel like it. We're going to talk about what it takes to keep going when the excitement wears off and the work gets harder. Because y'all, consistency is where the breakthrough really happens. And I can't wait to dive into that with you. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for being part of this community. Thanks for walking this out with me. And remember, you can't do this alone. You weren't meant to. So find your people, build your community, and watch how God uses them to carry you through. I'll see you next week. And until next time, keep walking it out. I'm your girl, Latrice Clark Jordan. And remember, have grace for yourself.